Hey guys, happy, what is it, Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't even know anymore. I want to say Wednesday, maybe Tuesday, I don't know. But anyway, hopefully your day went quick. I really truly don't know what day it is today. What is it, man? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? It's not, hell, I don't know. It tells you how quickly my week goes. Anyway, I just figured I'd do a quick afternoon drive on the way home and see what's new. I did get a chance to watch our State of the Union, and I got a chance to watch some of the rebuttals in response to it. And, you know, to be honest with you, nothing surprises me. It wasn't that surprising. We're doing good. The economy's doing good. Everything, and the Democrats hate Trump. So it's pretty much same old here. But that was pretty much what I did during my lunchtime. Now, what I did find out today was pretty interesting. We've got a lot of guys that are in my class that are, you know, they're actually being released soon, and they're entrepreneurs, but they don't want to go into the same kind of a business that put them in jail. So they're looking to be entrepreneurial in different ways. So our topic of discussion today, they were asking a lot of questions about, you know, different businesses, ways to go into business, how to get financing. And we have one guy that he fancies himself, you know, he puts himself out there as this business expert. And, you know, he's doing people's business plans and all this. And the guy, you know, I don't know. I don't even want to say it, because I'm not going to say who he is or anything, but I will say that his list of why he's in jail is long and distinguished, and it's all to do with con artists, you know, thievery. I mean, the guy's nowhere near considered a businessman, but he puts himself out there to the other inmates as a businessman. And but they've started to come to me and ask me questions, and I've been asking him, like, you know, he fills their heads with a lot of things that he's not telling them the full truth. He's like, oh, there's microloans, you go to the bank, you go through the SBA, you do this, you do that, and he's filling their heads with all this stuff. And these are felons, right? They don't qualify for a lot of the things that they're going to apply for. And the thing is, for the businesses that they want to start, you're not going to get the fund. They're not going to get the funding they need for the businesses they want to start. And instead of helping them focus on streamlining their business plan and giving them more direction that way, you know, he's just kind of filling their heads with all these, you know, he's telling them what they want to hear instead of being real. So when they come to me and I was kind of explaining to them, I basically gave them a lot of better suggestions, better advice, and they were really happy because they felt that they were getting steered the wrong way. But I mean, for those of you that have been watching, or, you know, whether you're watching the afternoon stream, morning stream, at night, I'm a huge entrepreneur. I've been that way for the better part of 30 years. I've been very blessed, very lucky to do pretty much what I've wanted to do, and I've not taken any of it for granted. The lessons I've learned and the people that that have mentored me and have actually taught me how things work in the business world, those are lessons that I've kept, and I pass on as many times as I'm able to. I pass them on to other people. I try to pay all of that forward. And I mean, people sometimes, when I tell them what's possible and what they can do, sometimes there's this aura of disbelief, and they think, no, you're just making that up. So I'll actually have to show them sometimes. Let me show you exactly how I did it, and then I'll show them what I've done and the businesses I've done. And once they see that, they're like blown away. They're like, oh my God, I showed them. The last restaurant I had was Whiskey River Barbecue and Brew, and it was literally $1 million restaurant, and I was out of pocket about $1,000. No banks, no loans, no borrowing, no investors, none of that. I showed them how to leverage to get everything that I got. And same every business I've had, my investment out of pocket has been very minimal, but I can show them how to finance those businesses, how to find money and funds where they would never have thought to look for them, and not become obligated to banks or loan companies or credit cards and all that. You know, oh, you gotta go to your friends and family. You know what? You don't want anybody involved in your business but you. And that's kind of what I was teaching these guys today. And I was showing them all about the different technology that's out there to make, you know, the technology, because I'm primarily a technology class. So a lot of the stuff that's out there today, they haven't been exposed to before. So I was kind of teaching them how they could use all of that for every aspect of their business today. And it was actually a really fun class. But I could see, though, they were just totally disbelief when I tried to explain to them, you know, you can start a business and you can do this and you can do that, and here's how you do it for no money, you know. And I'm not like, if you ever see those guys on TV, I don't know if you've seen them where they're pitching you their get rich quick. Oh, matter of fact, one of the guys that used to be a late night pitchman on TV, you guys probably won't remember him, but he had like kind of like a buzz cut, a young guy. He had a very young babyish face, and he would come on late at night, and he would talk with his hands, going, I'm going to tell you how to do just something absolutely amazing by placing these little teeny classified ads in the newspaper. And he would go. His name was Don Lepre, and he was running these, you know, get rich quick, you know, infomercials all over the place. He subsequently was indicted and for fraud and everything, and I think he killed himself in prison, something to that effect. But I mean, most of these scam artists that try to sell you their get rich quick, here's the way I look at it. If you've got something, like they're trying to sell you something on TV for $89, $69, only $39, only 3 payments of $29.95. They're trying to sell you this stuff. Here's what I say. If I truly can make, if it's everything you say, and it's so easy, and I can make the money the way you're saying, give it to me free of charge, or just charge me a minimal amount for shipping to cover your costs. And then when I've done what you tell me I can do, and I've made the money the way you say I can make it, I'm going to pay you 10 times whatever you originally wanted. So if you wanted $100 for it, give it to me for free, and I'm going to send you 1,000. I'm going to overpay you 10%, or I'm going to overpay you 10 times what you're asking, because you gave it to me for free and it actually works. There's my litmus test. You want to sell me something that you say works and it's the greatest thing, but they'll hit you with all these excuses. Well, everybody's drive is, you know, you might not have the same drive or determination that someone else does. Okay, well, you didn't say that in your, little infomercial there, but I just think that if you got something that's so great and it works so wonderful, pay it forward, share that information, give that information the same way you got it, save that person from making those mistakes. You know, competition is good for business. It elevates all the businesses. The more competition there is, each business sits a higher level. So, I mean, I don't know. I've been in business for a long time, and I loved every bit of it. I've always done my own advertising and marketing, and so when people come with their handout, because that's one of the things that I tried to warn these guys. I says, you know, when you own your own business, as soon as you incorporate, or as soon as you put that paperwork in, you get your, documents, everybody and their brother will be after you with their hand out. They will all want you, advertise in my newspaper. This is the magazine you need to be in. Billboards are the way to go. Online advertising is the best. You need search engine optimization. Everybody's got their hand out. And the thing is, all of that stuff, while it's important, it's not stuff that you really, truly have to pay for out of pocket. It's things that you can do for yourself, do your own advertising, marketing, and do it smartly. Do you need billboards? No, you don't need billboards. There are so many awesome ways to do the marketing, direct marketing, and everything else. And I think if you learn those things, and I learned them over time, but that's the information you should pass forward to the new business owners. And that's what I was telling these guys, look, don't be quick to shell out money for everybody that holds their hand out. I said, don't do that, man. You're just setting yourself up for failure. I said, also, you're every single person that is involved in your business, they all have to be in uniform, or they all have to be presentable and professional, because they are all a direct representation of your company. You'll not be taken serious in any industry if you don't walk the walk, talk the talk, and look the part. I tell them it's not how big you are, it's how big they think you are. When you go in there professional and you go in there, I told them there's a lot of different companies too that if you're growing and you want to get on bigger customers, you can actually, like companies like Regis, if you want an office in Tokyo, you want your London office, you can actually pay a few $100 a month and actually have offices in Tokyo, offices in London. So when they call your London office will connect and say, oh yes, hold on 1 second, and they'll actually call you here in the States and forward that call to you if you tell them you're in London, your London office. I mean, there are so many ways to put a presence out there and give yourself the image that really breeds confidence in your clients and your customers. So there's so many different ways to be in business and have that reflect positively on you and your actual customers. So I was trying to kind of convey that to these guys, and one guy came to me and he was trying to do a business plan, and that was another thing. I love business plans because they're living, breathing documents that will change as your business changes. But I'm a realist. You can't be vague. You've got to be as specific as you can in your business plan. When you say, we're going to have 7 companies, and each company is going to do this, and each company will do that. And I said, no, you don't put that in a business plan. You're not going to have 7 companies. You're going to have one company, and you can have different divisions within that company. That's fine. But if you're trying to dovetail one off of the other, you start with one company, pick a core, build that core, focus on it, and as that grows and becomes profitable, now you can dovetail off and start your other divisions. So I had to go through this whole, and I'm sitting here going, man, I ought to just teach a business course to these guys. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, I helped one lady out. I don't know if I told you guys before. When I was back in Arizona, I had a lady who lost her job. She came in. I had a business center. If you're on YouTube, and if you ever YouTube My Office Business Center, that's one of the franchise. I built a franchise to sell these different franchise locations and everything, and I ended up selling it out. But one of my business was to get other people in business. We did their incorporation, all their legal paperwork. We did their if they wanted to send press releases, we did their press releases. We basically did their websites, EIN numbers, everything that if you walked in and said, I want to start a business, and you had no idea, we would help you, basically just talk to you about what are you good at, what do you enjoy, and just from our conversations, we could literally put you in business. We could actually make it to where, your business cards, we'd do your business cards, we'd be your office if you needed. But it was a lot of fun. I designed that franchise to compete with UPS Store, because we did everything the UPS Store did, but we did 10 times more. And it was computer repairs, upgrades, website design, hosting. It was great. It was a lot of fun. But the funny part was, I had one lady that come in, and I still to this day remember it. She was really upset. She was crying. She had just lost her job, and she was too old, she said, to go out and try work in an industry that she'd spent 20 years in. And she was just really bummed. She goes, so she saw the news story that was done, and she asked how we could help her. And so I spent some time with her, about a half hour, just talking to her about her, just talking about her, what she likes and what she enjoys. And one of the questions I asked her, I says, well, what do you love? I mean, if I had to say to you, tell me what you love, what's something you really love? And her answer was honest. It was really honest answer. And she says, I love my cats. And I says, I'm sorry, what was that? And I was meaning, what do you love to do, that type of thing. But I asked her, I says, what do you love? And she says, I love my cats. And I went, okay, well, all right, well, that's an honest answer. Let's start there. So I says, tell me about your cats. And she was telling me about her cats and all what she does for these cats and how her house is set up with these cats and how she has she has these cat scratch posts and all this stuff. And she was going through the whole thing, and she was telling me how much money she was spending on all these toys and all this stuff with the cats. And I said to her, I says, well, look, I says, since your passion is cats, and, she'd also she had hobbies. She liked to build things and do little hobby stuff. I says, well, why don't you take your love for your cats and let's look at doing a business that would actually make you money while doing something that has something to do with cats. And she says, like what? And I says, well, you were saying that you have a little cat scratching post or whatever in every room, and you were paying $30 for these cat scratch posts. I says, and she went on to tell me how expensive these things are. And I said, well, why? That's a great business for a project. And she says, well, what do you mean? And I says, well, here's the deal. And I just told her, I said, I want you to go out in our area. I says, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, go to all these different carpet outlets and tell them that you'll come and, she had a pickup truck. I says, tell them you're going to come and you want their cardboard tubes. They got these big tubes that the carpet is wound up on. And I says, tell them you want all of their empty tubes. You're not going to charge them to remove them, but ask them if they would just hold them for you or call you when they're empty so you can come get them. And she did. And then she at first, she was kind of like, why? I said, well, because then after they give you the carpet tubes, the actual big, and these are thick, big, round tubes that you can cut, slide other tubes within tubes. You know where I'm going. And I said, so what you're going to do is you're going to ask them for all the remnant carpet scraps that they have. They'll give them to you for free just to get rid of them. I says, you're going to take those remnants, you're going to get a hot glue gun, and you're going to wrap the carpet and everything around these tubes. You'll put tubes inside of tubes, and you're going to make your own. You're going to get a little piece of wood base, and you're going to sell these and see how many you can sell. Just build like 5 or 6 of them. And she was getting excited because she's like, oh my God, I could make these little houses. I says, yes, kitty condos have multiple levels. You've seen them. They're out there, make kitty condos, little cities. And she got really creative with this stuff. Well, I don't see her for like 6 months after I give her this idea. I don't see her. And then she comes back and she wants more. She needs business cards and all this stuff. And I says, well, how's it going? And she come to find out they had built, over the last 6 months, they built like 50 of these in their garage. All different kinds. I guess there was a big learning curve of how to put them together and how you could use the half bases. And so she explained everything that she'd been doing for these last 6 months. She goes, it took us 4 months to build them, and then another month to get everything together to where they were ready to go to this. They were just going to go on the side of the road and see if they could sell them. She says we loaded up, I think she says 10 or 12 of them in their pickup truck, and they pulled over on the corner of a road and put a sign on there for $25. And she says literally within a 3-hour period, she had sold all of them for $25. And I says, and what was your cost to actually make those? She goes, I didn't pay for the cardboard tubes. I didn't pay for the carpet. She goes, I got a little glue, and I took the big sheets of plywood and cut them into bases. She goes, I might have had maybe $1 in each one, if that. And I went, and you made $25 each. And she goes, yeah, that was just for the small ones. And now she had bigger ones. She told me that she took those and sold them for more. But anyway, a year goes by. She comes back again, and she actually had signed with one of the, I think it was called PetSmart, but she signed with them to provide all these scratching posts and these little kitty condos for this PetSmart in her region and everything. And I said, so are you making money? She says that year alone, the 1 year that had passed, she made more money in the 1 year than she made 3 years previously doing her old job. And she says that she was doing something she loved. So, I mean, business can come, you just got to kind of be open and think about things in a way that it doesn't limit yourself. And just knowing that was her love with cats, that seemed like a logical place for me to kind of focus for her, to help her. But, man, she was so happy. And even today, I see her on Facebook every now and then. She'll send me a little picture of, one of the things and now she's gotten into doing these really fancy cities, little kitty. I think she calls them kitty cities, and she's doing kitty cities, which is like you've got to have a nice chunk of your. I think the last one she did was a 4 foot by 4 foot. With all these little tunnels and hidden pockets for catnip and little hanging toys. She really got elaborate with a lot of it. But they sell for $299. And think about it. What has she got? She's not paying for tubes. She's not paying for carpet. So she's making really good money doing that. But I've always loved business. And so when people are entrepreneurial, they've got their own companies, they've got their own business. Sometimes it'll be stagnant. And they'll I don't know how to get any more customers. And I'll be like, hey, what do you do? And they'll tell me about their business. And sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes there's obvious ways that you can, actually make money in your business. And you might not even see it. And you're like, well, this is what I do. I had one guy, especially because I was a technology guy. When I got rid of, I had I had 8 computer stores throughout Metro Detroit. And when I sold those and I moved on, other people that were in the business, they were kind of, struggling, and I couldn't understand because we did really well, and they were saying, well, you don't understand, the price of computers are way down, so when you custom build these machines, you're not making as much. And I'm like, why are you custom building machines if they're so cheap? The money's in the service side. And they were like, well, yeah, we service, but, that's, you got Geek Squad, and they were telling me, and I said, no, Geek Squad's a joke. They charge way too much. So, I basically helped them kind of redo their businesses, and a lot of it would just involve, they said, look, you do a flat rate, it's $49.95 to bring it in, because most problems are not hardware related anyway. There's usually software, and it takes you 15 minutes to fix it. You just tell them it's a $49.95 flat rate, $69.95 if you come out to their house to fix it, and $39.95 if you can remote in and just have one of your techs from your office, your tech center, just literally go in and actually fix the system remotely. So they really liked a lot of those ideas. They were like, okay, great. I says, and next thing you need to do, you need to look at all your customers. You have a ton of businesses. Why are they not on service plans? Why are they not paying you every month to be on a service plan to service their machines or to be on call? Just give them a contract, a service contract, where when they need you, you'll be able to come, and they pay for that every month whether they need you or not, but they don't pay the higher rate, when they do need you. So all those little things, they're like, oh my God, yeah, those are things we could do. And many of them did really, really well. The ones that really committed to it, other ones kind of threw it out there and they didn't really try it that much or market it or advertise. And then another thing I did too with the guys, I said, if you're going to stay doing your custom, because there's still money in custom build systems, because most of the custom build systems are way better than what's out there from HP. They have more memory, faster this, they're actually, the custom build systems are better, but you've got to be able to justify the higher price. And like the one guy who's actually still in business today, I told him, here's what you do. You charge a premium price, not outrageous, you charge a premium price, but what you tell them is you say it's a premium price because it comes with a 3-year on-site warranty. That's not offered by any company out there unless they charge you, like even HP will charge you a ton of money for it. And they're like, well, what do you mean on your? I said, yeah, even nationwide, you can sell your computers and you can offer a 3-year on-site warranty, and you can tell, and that warranty, you can either tell them they can buy it for $99, or you can actually package it in the price and have it come with it. I says, but that's what they're like, well, how are we going to do it? I says, it's very simple. A lot of folks don't know there are companies out there all over the country. With a simple phone call, you can dispatch them to service your clients. And you can negotiate a rate with them that's cheap. Usually $25, $35 per visit is what you're going to pay. So if you got somebody who's paid $100 for a computer, and the way you write your warranty is you simply say, this covers hardware problems. A 3-year bumper to bumper, you know, for hard. Now, if it's a software issue, we're going to bill you $49.95 or whatever. Then you go ahead, you send the technician out there, they fix a software problem, and they bill you $30. You bill the customer the $50. You know, there's ways to generate the money. You just got to be open to what it is to get that part of your business going. It's dovetailing off your initial core business. So, yeah, I just love business. That's one of those things that if I had everything to do over, I don't think I would have changed too much of anything. I learned a lot of hard lessons, but I know people that have masters in business. I know 2 of my friends they have masters in business, and they went to very good universities, but every time I talk to them, you can just see the shock in their, like, well, you know, everything I've studied, and that's what they have, book smarts. They have great book smarts, but they don't have real world smarts. They don't know the markets, the economy. They don't know how all this works together. But the book said this, the book said that. And you know what? When that book was written 20 years ago or 10 years ago, that might have been true. But today, times change, law changes, everything changes. And if you're not flowing with it, if you're not going with it, then you're going to be stuck sitting there saying, the book said this, the book said that. But, yeah, they have their degrees and masters in business. And when they see some of the stuff I've done and how I've done it, they were like, well, that's not really the conventional way. And I'm like, why would I want to do it the conventional way? Why would I want to do it the same way everybody else has done it that has actually failed or spent 10 times harder time getting it done than me? I do it the non-conventional way, and it gives me the exact results I want, half the time, a fraction of the cost. Why wouldn't I want to do it my way, you know? Well, that's just, you know, that's not the way they teach it in school. Oh, well, get a new school, get a new teacher, you know? So I just kind of laugh because I love, you know, it's nice to have a piece of paper that you can hang on the wall, and you might be able to talk about your company's innate value and say, well, if you do this, it really, on the surface, it looks good, but in the long run, it's going to hurt your company's innate value. And that's great to say, but let me tell you, the truth of the matter is, there's business back when your books were written, and then there's real world business, and deals are just like kind of what Trump preaches. You can always make a great deal. There's always a better way to do something. As long as you make it a win-win for everybody, if it's a win for you and a win for whoever else is involved, it can be a good thing. But if it's lopsided, and if only you're winning and they're losing, or they're winning and you're losing, it's never going to work, and it's going to hurt everybody in the end. You know, so anyway, I kind of rant about business. That's one of the things I love. You know, business is fun. I love technology. I love innovation. I did get a chance to look at the motorcycles that they're riding in Dubai. They're like these, like, kind of like drone motorcycles. Pretty cool. You know, I watched another video on them at lunchtime, and I will say I actually like them. I think, yeah, those would be fun. But then there's also a video of a guy here in Florida that developed this little platform. I don't know how many of you guys have watched. You ever see the one of the very first, I think it was with Tobey Maguire, the Spider-Man, where, I think it was Spider-Man, where he went up against the Green Goblin, and he had the little plane that he was standing on and flying on. Well, there's a guy in Florida that has actually developed that. They show him riding it over the lakes, you know, because he's still testing it, I guess, and if you fall, it's better to fall over water than, I guess, concrete. But they show him using it, and I'll tell you what, one of the very, very easy to control it looked like. I mean, he really had it going well. And at first I kept thinking, maybe this is special effects, maybe this is not legit. But after I looked into it and everything, yeah, it is. It's actually really legit. It doesn't fly for, you know, an hour or anything. It's short flight time, but the cool part about it is it was just that you put the boots on, it was the little jet engine on it, and it was pretty cool. So those are the kind of things I spend my lunch looking at going, Well, that's cool. All right, I want one. I want to put it on my little. I'm going to buy a flying motorbike. I'm going to buy the flying platform. I mean, everything that I can find that's cool. I'm like, put that on my Santa Claus list. Send it out. I want this. I want that. But yeah, I'm figuring that what they call them, big boys toys. I kind of want the cool stuff. That's what I like. I seen the thing that they have where you use it in the water and you're like tethered, and it's like a water jet that kind of propels you like a jetpack, but over water. And that didn't, you can't use it. What if there's no water and then you don't use it? So I'm still a big fan of the idea of flying above the traffic to go to work. If I could fly as a crow flies to and from work, strap on a pair of boots, leave my house, and go right to my place of work, that would be awesome. No more hour in traffic. 5 minutes as a crow flies, and I'm there. That's what I'm about. Or give me the motorcycle. Let me whisk above all this stuff. These guys are going up 20, 50, 80 feet high in the air. I'm like, that's of actual time. So I don't know if they were... I really don't know if they were electric or if they were gasoline. I don't know, but they were pretty cool. If you ever get a chance to look at them, definitely you'll want one. You'll be like, I want one, man. But that's kind of the future. Even they're even doing the tests now in Dubai with the automated, just like we have driverless cars. They have these flight vehicles that are totally driverless, and they're like sky taxis. So you call one, it'll come out, land, and actually it'll take you wherever. Now, I don't know if they're just unmanned by people sitting in in like a call center flying them, or if in fact they're just all automated flight. I don't know, but they were pretty cool too. Oh, but I guess when you're a country like that has unlimited funds, pretty much anything. I was looking at Dubai, they actually have, and this is, I didn't believe it, but I had to look, they have ATM machines that dispense gold. Let me say that again, ATM machines that dispense gold. Like I can put my card in and get a couple $100. There you can put your card in, I guess, and get gold, like little bars. So I kind of thought, well, that's neat. I don't think, they probably don't get hacked too often. But yeah, it's when you got money, I guess gold lines the streets. But they're also not very light on crime. I think that if you get like a traffic ticket or you get you break some law, I think the penalty is death. I mean, it's like you litter a piece of paper, they come and they seize you and it's 30 years in prison. I don't know if it's that bad. I'm saying that it's, I hear they're very tough on crime. But I know that when we, even for Desert Storm, when you go over overseas, a lot of times, depending on what country you're going to, at least back in the day, I don't know if they do it anymore, but because in the military you're susceptible to the laws of the country that you're in. So if you violate one of their laws, you can be prosecuted under their laws. And so a lot of times they would take our Bibles away, because certain places you go, having that Bible is not a good thing. So they would actually collect and take our Bibles. I don't know if they do that anymore, but back then they did. And so it was kind of weird, but it's neat to see, hopefully over the next 20 years, where technology is going to take us. I'm still waiting for the first time they figure out gravity. They don't have a grasp on gravity, but I think once scientists figure out how to reverse the polarities and have it to where they can easily manipulate the gravitational pull on the Earth, that's why, when your rockets are launched, they're constantly being pulled back. But if you could just spin a little dial and change the frequency or the polarity of the gravity itself, instead of pulling back, you have to have it repel you out into space. There will be some genius that figures out gravity does have something that can be manipulated. There's something that holds us when you jump in the air and fall back down. People say, well, it's gravity. Well, okay, well, what is gravity, define it, and what makes it that way. When you go on to Mars, or you go on to even the moon, you remember how the astronauts would kind of bounce? You know, there's something that we can look at and learn, I'm sure. Just like anything else, we can learn and figure out why we can't just reverse that. And it's going to happen. You know, everybody says, no, that'll never happen. Gravity is gravity. No, look. When you can put a satellite in the heliosphere and rovers on Mars, you can clone sheep, dogs, humans, people, whatever. You have all these huge technological advancements. Harnessing gravity and the effects of gravity, I think, are just a short time away. You know, I'm sure it'll happen. So that's what I'm waiting for. Then of course, all that stuff you saw in Star Wars, the hovercrafts and all that, they'll be like, yeah, they just kept the polarity at a certain, and then it kept it elevated. Who knows? Scientists will figure it out. And actually, I've seen them do some on YouTube. I've actually seen some studies where they would have devices that they pumped a tremendous amount of electricity in, and it seemed to elevate it. But then I saw other ones where they would use, I think it was like liquid nitrogen, and they would freeze a track, and they could propel objects around the track that were elevated, literally defying gravity. And they would be able to move them with their finger and spin them around the track, and no friction, no nothing. Just they would go around and around, and so I know there is a way that they're going to have to come up with that they can actually harness that technology and say, we now can defy gravity. Matter of fact, I believe on Broadway there was even a witch in Wicked that could defy gravity. Don't go there. Just kidding. For those of you that haven't seen Wicked, awesome. Go see it. And if you're not in the U.S., YouTube it, and you'll see it. It's the sequel, or it's the prequel to the Wizard of Oz. So it's all about how the witches became witches. Yes, juvenile, childish, immature. Anyway, guys, I'm home. Thanks for hanging with me. If you stuck with me during the afternoon drive, I appreciate you. Do me a favor, follow me if you can. Follow me on Twitch, or subscribe. And I will see you tonight at about 7 o'clock, man. Hang out, or hang in there.